Case study 22, smaller, slower, weaker, Jackie the runner. The more I learn about nutrition and go further to this course, the more sensitive and concerned I have become for any little signals and conditions and responses from the clients. So Jackie the runner, um, she's successful small business entrepreneur. She's 31 years old. She got entire world ahead of her, but her current condition is very alarming to me. She has hypothalamus amenorrhea, stress fracture and bone density problem, subclinical anemia, depressed, irritable, anxious. She often feels cold, digestion has problem, and the most alarming thing for me is no menstrual cycle for 2 years. It's thank God that she's asking for help, and um, me and with the entire supporting network, doctors and you know therapists and everybody will have to work together to help her because it is a pretty severe situation right now. First of all, um, identify as a coach of their sport. So she runs marathon, half marathon regularly, and she trains 50 miles per week. So I did a little research on top of the, marathon is 26.2 miles run, and her average age group time out of three major marathons in the United States is 4 hours and 46 minutes. So it's pretty amazing for her to do 5 hours run a few times a year. That's pretty cool. And another thing is the first gold medalist for marathon, Olympic marathon, is happened here in LA in 1984, Joan Benoit. So it's pretty cool. So every time when I pass by this Olympic building by USC, and I'll always remember 84, Joan Benoit. She became the first woman won Olympic marathon. So that's good. And marathon was reborn at the first modern Olympic game back in 1896. I think that's pretty interesting too. And so since you want to do ultra marathon and triathlon, so I learned what are they. So basically ultra marathon is any organized foot race extending beyond regular marathon distance. Usually it begins at 50 kilometer and can extend to enormous amount of distance. So for instance, the Sri Chinmoy ultra marathon, it's 50 times more distance than regular marathon. I just cannot even picture that. And the longest marathon they run in 64 consecutive days from LA to New York. Average they run 45 miles a day. That is very amazing as well. So triathlon, it's basically three sports, all the mile regulation for that. So if Jackie want to go to triathlon, and she has the running down, she just need to make sure her cycling and swimming is also good too. So actually, I would really like to see her going to triathlon training because then you start to require some strength of upper body, core strength, and all that instead of just running. Because I assume um, if she runs a business and also runs 50 miles per week, most likely she's gonna not be able to do strength training at all. But she just doesn't have the time. So going to triathlon actually is a good idea. She can balance more about of her workout. And so Jackie to make sure we communicate learning style and communication strategies with Jackie. Being a type A, determined, hardworking female client, I would need to be very careful and very sensitive about her needs. And so I will start with motivation in information gathering first to make sure that her blood work, her bone density report, and also I would ask her to do journal on food, on workout, on sleep, on inner compass, to see where she at right now, so I can understand the current existing plans and can build from there. And so when I gather information, I'll make sure that I utilize my motivational interview skills to have her talk and to have her be in charge of her life and choose her own plan instead of me giving her tasks to do and give her directions to go. And the very important thing I really need to um, find out for her is why she's doing this, why she's running 50 miles per week, and why she's want to go vegan, why she want to do ultra marathon and triathlon. Depends on her answer. My action plan will be very different because the answer might be she wanted to trim down, she want to keep her weight in a certain level because her eating habit is very poor, her eating choices is bad. Um, so if that's the case, then the action plan will be, you know, working from her food, working from her workout instead of just, going extreme ways to work out a lot and eat a lot. And or if her answer to do all this, running is because she just loves to run, and that's good too. And then so we will make sure that she continue running and to adjust her food and then her recovery schedule and regimen. Or if she, her answer is she just need to have a goal because she's such a competitive person. She just want to have a goal, keep attacking the goal, keep accomplishing the goal, and then move the goal to next level. Then, maybe what she needs in life is to diversify, you know, in addition to her career goal, her running goal, and make some other goals in her life to learn a new skill, learn a new language, take on some new habit, gardening, crafting, or different things. So it depends on her answer. Is the action plan will be very different. I find a lot of us we do things without really knowing the true answer. You know, and then by finding the true answer, that's the only way we can find the best solution. Otherwise, you know, one layer on top of blindly the other, we'll just get so busy and so wind up that we really can't fix the fundamental issue. Maybe for her is maybe she has very low self-esteem, so she needs to prove herself that she can do marathon. If that's the case, then marathon or not is really not the fundamental issue to fix. So, yeah, we really need to understand her values and priority, why she's doing this, and to do this to the degree that she's hurting herself, her health. So, the journals and also recovery for sure has to implement in her new regimen. Discover what is her current recovery program, how's her sleep, does she has any time for herself, any downtime, any parasympathetic, nerve time for herself to relax and things like that, or she's on the go all the time, including working out. So if she doesn't have any recovery strategy, then we need to implement some. Maybe teach her how to meditate, have her join some meditation group or yoga class, and forest bathing. Ever since I read about that Japanese study, I always recommend people to do forest bathing, even just 5-10 minutes walk outdoor, without agenda, without I need to run 7 miles today, I need to run 15 miles today, without agenda, just go out, enjoy the tree, breathe the fresh air. That will help her a lot. Relaxation. for her anxiety, stress, and irritation. And also her workout program. As I mentioned earlier, with her schedule, highly doubt that she can implement any strength training program in her routine right now. And and then she already has the the stress fracture and the bone density problem, which she might thought otherwise that by running so much she should have strong bone, but it's female athlete triad symptoms. So incorporate strength training will be good for her to help her bone density and diversify this stress fracture. And so for this subclinical anemia, again, back to the FAT, she most likely is overtraining, not having enough nutrition. So we need to redesign her nutrition program and make sure she's eating enough food and enough good quality food to satisfy this huge demand physically and mentally of her lifestyle. So that's my so really the action plan really depends on what's the real situation of her. So you ask, is there any gaps a story need to fill in? Yeah, a lot. And for instance, what's her situation? Is she single? Is she home alone? Does she live with her family? Does she have kids? Does she have a husband or a partner? Because that will make a huge difference between how to make her nutrition plan. Does she cook, or does she have to cook for herself or family, or does another partner in the family can cook for her? So all this, need to understand. Is there any other stressor in her life besides her work and this physical stress she put on her running? Is any family, stressor? Is any kids, spousal, any other things, or if she stressed, if she's single, stress of having a social life or not, or different things. So that I also need to find out. And also, of course, her current health situation, so I need to have her to do basic blood panel so I can understand her a baseline health biomarkers right now is everything's in the healthy range or something's missing, and things like that. So from there, to develop her nutrition program, of course, always start from the fundamental. If she has enough fuel, like the article said. So with the female client, don't mention calories, use fuel and energy. So that she has enough energy and fuel, and does she have a good 3C's macronutrients, and then is she having quality food sources, and so if necessary we can supplement with necessary vitamin and mineral based on her blood work and her food program. And then what is the system right now, and what is the system that I can help her with for future consistency. And so those are the action plans I will put out for her. It's because the case study is so vague, the information we have is so small, so little. So based on what I get from each step, each action plan will be very different. So again, back to this female athlete triad. Really need to make sure she's eating enough food. She doesn't have any disordered eating habits, or any mental blocks for carbs or for food or things like that. And her disrupted menstrual cycle, it's huge. Actually, I personally had the experience when I was practice awareness eating and eating to 80% full, that I couldn't have a menstrual cycle for a few months. But once I up the calories, I'm back to normal. Just like JB's experiments with, I think when he's doing his PhD paper, when female up our calories back to normal, our menstrual cycle comes right back. So most likely she's under eating, and her decreased bone density. Once we got a good supplements and enough calories in, and some strength training, hopefully just like other girls with a FAT, we can see her bone density improve. So to sum up, this has been a very challenging case study for me, um, but I've learned some, and but for me, really, Jackie, the runner, or a professional athlete, or my housewives or executive clients, I I see them in different lenses, but I also see them in the general lens. So just like our program taught us, we see them with a big lens, with the individual lens, and with the sex and gender lens. So now I'm feeling more and more so of those specific lenses to see each client. So it's been great. Thank you.